Hands off to Jonathan Taylor. Huge hole. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 10, 5, touchdown. Jonathan Taylor made a man miss the line of scrimmage and then runs it into Pater. A one-handed INT. Are you kidding me? Kenny Moore.
What a play by Nyheim Hines.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. Guys, we are having a Q&A live stream today for you all. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, if you're just tuning in, be sure to like the stream, comment in the chat, and ask me some questions. I will feel free to answer them. And again, be sure to subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. We are 12 subs away from 11,400 subs on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today. And again, be sure to ask away with any questions that you may have. And I'm actually going to start this stream off with a question that I got over Twitter. And I'll go ahead and hop to that. And then I'll hop into the chat here. But I'm going to go ahead and go into this first question. It comes from at Coat Pie Nick. It says, do you see Gus Bradley's defense in terms how do you see Gus Bradley's defense in terms of volume takeaways? And do you think they'll be targeting similar numbers? And then word on Strawn and his development. Well, I can tell you this, I haven't heard anything on Strawn's development no more than at what anybody else has seen. But nevertheless, when we're talking about Gus Bradley's defense, Gus Bradley runs a very similar type defense to what Matt Eberflus does. It's going to be, that mix of mainly a zone, but, having a little bit more of, but is going to end up having more man help, and it's going and the style of which a cover 3 is ran, especially for Gus Bradley's kind, is mainly due to the fact that it allows you to be more aggressive. So in answering your question, I think the Colts can get a few more turnovers because of this aggressive style. Will it maybe backfire on them a little bit in some way, shape, or form being more aggressive? Yeah, I definitely think it can, but the risk to reward ratio could be good for Indianapolis going forward. So thank you, Nick, for that question. Next one I get is from Professor Z. How many primetime games are we going to get this year after JT's put the world on notice? Well, I mean, from what it sounds like is Jim Irsay was implying that the Colts are going to get more than one primetime game this next regular season, which is great. I'm not 100% sure how much that means, but nevertheless, I am excited that if it's going to be 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, it could be up there. I mean, the Colts had several primetime games last season, so I would not be surprised if it turns out to be the same way this year, adding all the pieces they have, with Matt Ryan and Stephon Gilmore and Yannick Ngakoue, all these guys, adding these pieces has really helped put some notice in there for them. What's going on? Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Are you hoping for Jacksonville week 1? No, Gary, I am not. I am not rooting for that. I will say this. I will not be picking the Colts to win Jacksonville week 1 if that ends up happening. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm going to vote against them. I'm hoping they win, but I'm not going to think that they're going to win because, we haven't done it in years. So, it makes me wonder. Jeremy Ellison with the what's your favorite juice? Well, considering in the context, if we are having juice in the title, there's orange juice, apple juice, cranberry juice, grape juice. I'll probably go orange juice. Can never go wrong with a classic orange juice. Never can. Oh. Any rumors on who we got week 1 since Dallas gets Jacksonville? I have no idea. That's going to be interesting. Not 100% sure who we're going to get week 1. Again, for anyone that's also tuning into the stream, be sure to join the live stream tomorrow. We are actually going to be doing the live stream of the schedule release tomorrow. So make sure that you all are tuning in for that if you can. We'll be doing a live reaction. And also, again, if you haven't subscribed and you're in here already, please be sure to do so. Would definitely love to see that counter go up to over 14,000 subs today. Is T.Y. going to be a Colt again? I don't know, Saul. That's a very interesting question, because as of this moment, I don't really know what's going to happen with T.Y. Hilton. You know, he makes it sound like as if he's not coming back. I assume he's just being patient, but it seems very odd that it seems very odd that he would not have been back by now. You know, like normally a guy like T.Y. Hilton would have been jumping at the opportunity to come back to Indy, but either Indy's really not making him an effort to bring him back, or he really wants to try to get something from somebody else somewhere. So we will just have to see. Who would you like to see as a season opener, both home and road, and which you would like to see come first with the extra road game this year? Me personally, I think I would rather go with starting on the road first, depending on who the opponent is. Me personally, I think the first game jitters, it's kind of a good thing to get those out of the way. And it's one of those things where sometimes it can catch up to you in week one. So it's one of those things that you just have to see to believe. But who would I want as the season opener? I'm going to actually pull up the Colts schedule. I want to know, or Colts opponents. Because where is it? I would honestly love to play the Giants on the road first, to be honest. Over under on Matt Ryan with 4,250 passing yards, JT 1,500 rushing yards, defensive 40 takeaways. Well, I will go under for Matt Ryan's passing yards. I will go. What did JT have last year? What do you have last year? 1,800. I'll go over. And then I'll go under for the 40 takeaways. I know 40 takeaways. Everyone's trying to hit that 40 now. And I appreciate it. I really do. But I just don't think the 40 is just something the Colts are going to get, even though I think the Colts will pretty much be in the ranking for the top in takeaways this next year. Also, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the stream. Gets it out to more and more people. I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're tuning in and haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. We're about 12 subs away from 14,000 on the channel, so greatly appreciate it. Washington versus the Colts week 1. Kirby, hey, listen, man, that would be pretty funny. That would be pretty funny if that were to happen. What game are you wanting to go to the most? Let's see. I'll say this. There are 3 games I would love to go to. Now, one of these might be out of the making of it, because it just depends on my living situation this next year. But going to playing against Kansas City, playing against Philly, and playing against the Cowboys. Those are the games that I'm really wanting to see. People, do you think Parris Campbell can make a full season without getting hurt? Well, Derek, first off, I would say that's kind of a rough question to ask, because at first, you know, almost every player goes through a full season without playing a full season. You know, I mean, the whole point of it is the fact that you're supposed to just set the bar a little lower for everybody If Parris can play in 12 games this year, I think that's a huge win. That's a huge win for us. Who would you want to see us play in prime time if you could pick one team? Oh, man. I mean, the only right answer here is Kansas City, right? I mean, I think that's probably the only good answer. Maybe Dallas. Maybe Dallas, just because if the Colts crap on the Cowgirls, then the world will know, right? So maybe it is the Cowboys because of that. You'll be there tomorrow. Thanks, Kirby. Appreciate you. Do you think QT makes the 53-man roster at any point? I actually think he does. You know, he did a couple times last year, and you know, there hasn't been a lot of pieces added to this wide receiver room as is. So I'm not gonna say that there isn't a chance. He definitely has a good shot at it. Oh, nice. Yeah, y'all listen to the real Mr. Cole here, all right? Would you rather face the AFC West early in the season or later in the season? Oh man. Probably towards the end because that's when we get hot, honestly. Tristan, my guy, the only guy that I know that's an Alabama fan that's over in the South and is still out here watching and supporting the channel. Thank you, Tristan. I don't think Indy is feeling TY. It's very interesting. I mean, it seems odd that it wouldn't be the opposite way around, you know? If all stays healthy, assuming MPJ leads the team in receptions and yards again, who will be number 2? I'll be honest. I think Alec Pierce gets the receptions. I think Parris Campbell gets yardage. I think that's how that works, honestly. No, Mr. Colt, that's not combined yardage. That's not combined yardage. Jonathan Taylor had 1,800 rushing yards last season. Colts Patriots might be good. Oh, yeah. I mean, you saw what happened last year. Broncos would be a good game now, too. Oh, yeah. I mean, the Broncos would be fun to watch. I just hope it's not one of those like, well, wait, do they play the Broncos? They play them away. Gosh darn it. Okay, so that means that's going to be one of their away games. It's one of those 425 away games that like puts you to sleep. And it's like I think Joey mentioned this the other day, like one of the top 5 best things to fall asleep to on a Sunday is a Denver Broncos game at 425. I mean, it's I totally agree with that. Do you remember the last time we played the Colts? Colts gave them a goose egg. Yeah, I did. I remember that. Of course I remember that. I was watching that live. Hell yeah. That was an amazing game. Heard Indy and Dallas, just a noon game. Hopefully it gets flexed into prime time. Yeah, I hope it gets flexed into prime time. Again, can't really trust anything at this moment. I mean, I'd be surprised if it wasn't. I mean, Dallas, obviously prime market, and facing Indy, that would be fun. What do you think will be the Colts' toughest game this season? Probably the Chargers or the Steelers. Chargers or the Steelers, because the Steelers always have our number. Always. Doesn't matter who's quarterback, doesn't matter who the coach or what anything happens there. They always have our number. And the Chargers, And they got a stacked defense. They love to run the football. They're creative in how they move the ball around. They're tough to defend. Over under on 25 touchdowns from Matt. I think he gets 25. It's over. It's over for that. Thank you again to the 80 people who are in here right now. Be sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Really close to 11,400 subs. Just 10 more away now, guys. So could greatly appreciate your help there. In your mind, how could and couldn't Reggie Wayne fill the wide receiver role with being a coach with all the young guys? Is it asking too much for a first-time coach to work 5-6 guys into shape? I mean, again, you don't really have to work MPJ into shape. You know, I mean, you don't have to do that. And, you know, I mean, Parris Campbell really knows what he's doing. I mean, he could fine tune a few things, but really, I mean, the only guy he's really having to work with is Alec Pierce. And then the other guys, like, they know, they get it. They're in the NFL. They've been there for a year or more now. It's just, they need to fine tune some things. But I mean, that's Reggie Wayne's job as a coach. I mean, that's his job, is to work with these guys and to get them into shape. I mean, that's the whole point. So, you know, I mean, I don't think it's that much to ask Reggie Wayne to do that. He's supposed to work with all the wide receivers and, you know, make it to his best of his ability to make sure all these guys are ready to go. What do you think Pierce's role will be year one? Well, I mean, he's definitely going to have to learn to be that number 2, number 3 wide receiver for us. You know, he's going to have to make those contested catches, especially in the red zone. You know, that's what he's important about. I think it's just about learning to get better, you know, taking the lessons from Reggie Wayne and Matt Ryan. You know, I think that's the important thing. I'm going to say forever, I love this channel, man. It's amazing. I live in Alabama. And do you think Matt Ryan will play more than 2 seasons with the Colts? Hey, Tristan, I appreciate you, man. I really do. And that's a tough one. Well, if you asked Jim Irsay, he would say yes. Do I think he plays more than 2 seasons? It really all depends on how he plays. You know, it really all depends how he plays the first year. I think that will, I mean, honestly, it's not even the first year. It's the second year. Second year is what's going to make the huge difference. You know, I mean, when he's 37, about to turn 38 years old, you know, how does his body still feel? I think the Colts get a quarterback before then in that time. So I am going to say, most likely I'm going to say no. As a gambling guy, I will probably say no. Dang, all the comments coming in quick now. If you had to pick one or the other, Jarvis on a 1-year, $10 million deal or Bradberry on a 2-year, $20 million deal. Ooh. I kind of want to know the chat's opinion on that. What do you guys say to this question? Jarvis or Bradberry with this? I already have my answer, but I kind of want to see yours. Yeah, y'all are going in the same direction as me. Yeah, Bradberry, 100%. Bradberry for me. Bradberry for me because Bradberry is a tad bit younger. He's plays a more premium position. I think he has a little more left in the tank than what Jarvis does. But listen, 2 years for $20 million. I don't even say that's a tad much. I think that's what you would probably have to do to get him. And I think that's actually pretty good. I like Bradberry at that price, to be honest with you. I love that. Why do you think there are people that are down on Ryan? It's just because, you know, for one, it's a Colts quarterback. So, of course, everybody's going to be down on him. But I think just a lot of people are down on him just because they look at things that, you know, are not entirely Matt Ryan's fault, but they like to attribute that to Matt Ryan being being a failure. You know, the Falcons not making the playoffs, you know, him having a decrease in stats over the last few years, even though there's almost nothing he could have done with that roster that he had in Atlanta. I think that's the only reason why I would see somebody being down on Matt Ryan is just because, you know, they don't understand what's truly important to the quarterback position and what contributes to it more than others. They just see some numbers and then they're like, oh my gosh, so it's so bad, but they don't actually see the real reasoning behind it. So that's all with it, I would say. Over under on Hines with 60 receptions. Let's see. That is close. That is really close. I'm going to go under, but just barely. Just barely. What's needed more for us to sign a vet wide receiver or cornerback? I would say right now, it really depends on the cornerback. Depends on who you're getting. But I would say cornerback, because cornerback, again, is still a young position for a lot of this team outside of Stephon Gilmore. I mean, the secondary is still insanely young. And I think that getting another cornerback would be so helpful for us. Are you excited for our new tight end Woods? Oh yeah, I mean, I love it. I love what tight end Jelani Woods will do for us. Do I think he's going to be impactful right out the gate? No. I think towards the end of the season, you'll start to see more of Jelani Woods and being that enforcer at the end of the year. I think you'll see more. Could Dio see time at 3 tech or even 5 tech this year? I honestly see a lot of time with him at the 3 tech. I really do. I think that there is some times he will see the 3 tech role because, I mean, I mentioned it as it was. Yannick Ngakoue, DeForest Buckner, Dio Odangbo, and Kwity Paye is your third down pass rush guys. That sounds amazing to me. What are the chances we hold the Chiefs to 10 again this year? I'd say those chances are very low. Shoot, I'm late. Was trolling people on Twitter. 90 people. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Again, guys, be sure to like the stream, comment in the chat, ask me some questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. And also be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It gets it out. And we need to get 11,400 more. We need 11,400 subs by the end of the stream, guys. Help me out, please. Now you guys are going really fast. I would not go that far. Would not go that far. This is a different question. Man. Well, aspirations for this. But I mean, I think what Cody and I are both on the same page for is we'd like to turn this podcast into a full-time thing. I mean, we'd love to be able to do that. Could we do that right now? Maybe, but I mean, again, it wouldn't help pay the bills. So, you know, I mean, it's one of those things. I would absolutely love to make this a full-time thing. Love to get a studio at some point and, you know, maybe even move to Indianapolis at some point, you know, and try to get some deals and stuff with the Colts. I mean, you know, that would be big dreams, right? But I would love to be able to get a studio and, you know, be able to make this a full-time thing, maybe move towards Indianapolis a little more. Since you're an Ohio guy, what made you become a Colts fan? That's easy. Peyton Manning. Because my dad loved Peyton Manning. Loved watching him as a Colt and also as a Bronco. And And obviously the Colts had quite a few primetime games because of who they were and the fact there was Peyton Manning there. So we got to watch quite a few of the Colts games when I was younger. That's what turned me into the fan of the Indianapolis Colts that I am now. So it's pretty fun. What's the chance percentage wise Nick Cross could show out and win defensive rookie of the year? I'd say it's probably about a 15 to 20% chance. I would say it's still kind of low because, I mean, he's not going to be the focal point at the beginning. I'm sure of it, but I mean, I wish he would, but I think it's going to be more about it. Let's see here. We're passing the Bradberry stuff, so. Prediction for the national championship game in college football. Gonna be Alabama, Ohio State again, Tristan. Just saying. Let's see. Y'all keep bringing out these stats, and I'm not seeing questions. But I'm catching up a little bit. How would you feel about this? I think it's a great idea. I've heard floated Hines in the slot a lot this year. I have heard this idea so many times. I have seen this. Like, here's the thing, Mr. Cole, and I'm sure a lot of you are on Twitter, and I'm sure quite a few of you have seen that. That I have seen this come up so many times. They're saying, stop making him a running back, just put him at slot. And it's like, listen, I don't mind putting Nyheim Hines in the slots a little bit. I think it can help, and especially in fourth down situations. We did that a few times last year. And I like the idea of occasionally putting him in the slot. I occasionally like that idea. But I just don't see the point in always putting Nyheim Hines in the slot because he is a running back. He is a running back. He is a very good running back. I just think we have this weird notion that putting him in the slot somehow is going to make him more explosive. I just don't think that's going to happen. Being a running back, it gives him the opportunity to be able to find better ways to get open than what he would in the slot. So I think that's what we need to continue to do. Favorite draft pick? Oh, it's Nick Cross. Favorite one just because I loved his response to getting drafted by the Colts. I love his film. I love the player. I love the guy. I think it's going to be great for us. Again, thank you to the 105 people who are in here right now. Be sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe, guys, if you haven't already as well. We are so close to 11,400 subs. We are only 9 subs away. I would like to be able to hit that before the end of this stream, so please help me out. If you guys have a friend, a mom, dad, sister, brother, aunt, grandma, grandpa, somebody, be sure you have a dog. Make a YouTube account for your dog and subscribe, okay? Thank you guys very much. Where do you value wide receiver after the postseason last year? Where does that rank on a positional importance? Well, I mean, it really went to show you this last year just how important the wide receiver position can be if you know how to use it correctly. Honestly, for me, before this last postseason, I would have ranked the wide receiver group as probably, I mean, I really don't think it matters much more for me anymore. I honestly think that when it comes to, it might have jumped the tight end group now with the way the NFL is set up. Here's the thing. Neither one of the teams that made it to the Super Bowl this last year had an elite tight end. Okay. Uzama was definitely a good tight end, but I wouldn't say he was elite. And before that, you used to have a ton of teams that used to have elite tight ends going into it. So I would have said it would have been quarterback, offensive line, tight end, wide receiver, running back. Well, now I think after this postseason, you can probably move the wide receiver up to the third spot. But at the end of the day, we now know that but at the end of the day, we know offensive line is still way more important in the postseason than what we see in wide receivers because of the simple fact we saw what happened in the Super Bowl. Bengals couldn't protect Joe Burrow. What happened? They end up losing. So that's ultimately what you see there. What team do you hate most in the division? The Titans. Yeah, Titans, 100%. Henry or Taylor more rushing yards this year? I'm probably going to go Henry. Because I assume Henry will probably be I think they're going to rely on him a lot more often this season, especially after losing Brown and a couple other weapons as well. And if he stays healthy, he's going to get 100 more carries than Jonathan Taylor. So I think it's going to happen that way. Have you given a Colts record for this season? No, Boris, I haven't. I will probably give one out during the live stream tomorrow when we broadcast the schedule. That's probably what it is. What Colt player would you like to meet all time or present, and why? Would love to meet Bob Sanders. Would love to meet Darius Leonard. Darius Leonard, like right now for me, I need to meet this man. I mean, he's such a character. He's such a fun dude. I feel like I would get along with him really, really great. But Bob Sanders, especially at the end of his career, because Bob Sanders was one of the few guys that when I was growing up, I mean, I loved Bob Sanders. Loved the way he played. So. How about game 1, Jacksonville at Jacksonville? I'll put money on Jacksonville just because I don't even know if we'll win or not. But who's the starting left tackle in week 1? I'd have to take a guess and say Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor for me. Gosh, you guys are loading up these comments. Hard to get it. What's up? What's up, Skylar and Kirsten? What's up? I don't think Mike Strawn's even going to be a top 5 wide receiver for this group. I'll be completely honest. Yeah, I need to find my Joy Taylor, right? She is fine though. I'll be honest. She is fine though. Yeah, I mean, I definitely should think of considering that. Oh man, that's funny. Y'all know any women that want to talk some sports? You let me know. Because honestly, I'd love to be able to talk sports with some other women who enjoy talking about sports. It doesn't seem like a lot of times I get a chance to do that. When do season tickets go on sale? I mean, it depends. Not 100% sure. No, not gonna happen. Always gonna be an Ohio State fan. Probably Bryce Young, but I mean Stroud could be. Rob, I have no way of answering that because I have no idea what goes on. T.Y. or Julio? T.Y. Hey, Derek, always respect your content. Love your show. Stupid question. Not sure if you touched on it. Do you see Jelani Woods eventually starting as well as Nick Cross by mid-season? Well, first, Michigan Wolverine, greatly appreciate that. You're one of the only few Michigan Wolverine fans that I respect. But either way, no, I don't think there's a point that Woods starts this year, or at least not midseason. Nick Cross could be, but I think it's gonna be that way. I think it's more like Cox. Besides Manning, who was your first Colts jersey you owned? Anthony Gonzalez. Anthony Gonzalez, because he was an Ohio State wide receiver. He was an Ohio State guy, and I loved Anthony Gonzalez. Okay, 100%. That's how you know somebody doesn't know football. Yeah, I agree with that, Professor. Honestly, I would love to see both of them on the field at the same time because you have to take into account both of them at that point. Thank you guys again. We are only 3 subs away from 11,400 subs, guys. And also, by the way, just a short announcement before we go any further with this. We are going to be giving away more jerseys here shortly. Once we find out the numbers for the rest of the guys throughout the organization, we're just waiting on those because obviously I think we all know Matt Ryan's going to be number 2. That jersey number's been out for a while. We know Stephon Gilmore is going to be 5. We're going to be giving away a jersey of his for sure. Just waiting on guys like Yannick Ngakoue, Alec Pierce, those kinds of names. So we're just waiting to, see what's going to happen. And we'll be giving away a Darius Leonard jersey at some point too, maybe DeForest Buckner as well. We're going to give away a lot more jerseys. So don't be afraid of that. We're going to be giving away some. And make sure y'all keep an eye on that. Make sure if you don't have a Twitter, make sure to get a Twitter account and follow us because I think that's the important thing to know where we're at. Do you think we should have taken another receiver with our early picks? Me, Cash, Arcade? No, I think we got who we needed. And I think we got a position of need everywhere. I think all the picks that they had early, those first 4 picks, I couldn't really have drawn it up any better for us. Bro, I don't even need to answer this question. You already know, Tristan. Can Matt Ryan return to MVP form? I don't know. I think his MVP days are behind him, but I definitely think he can still be a very serviceable quarterback. Very, very. How many wins do you think the Colts get this year? Let's see. I think it's 10, maybe 11. I honestly think it's 10. I think that we will easily get 10 wins. I see 10 wins on this schedule as is without even seeing the lineup. That's just me. Hey, y'all, listen to Brett, all right? Over under on 8 touchdowns for Pittman. Oh, and 1,200 yards? He had 6 touchdowns last year. I think it's under for touchdowns. Had 1,082 yards this previous year. Honestly, I'll go over for the no, you know what? No, I'm going to go slightly under for 1,200 yards. I honestly think it's going to go slightly under. Do you believe Alec Pierce was our number 1 receiver on the draft board, or was he drafted as a result of others being gone? I'll be honest. I really do think Christian Watson was there. I really, really do think Christian Watson was going to be the guy. I think that Ballard assumed that Watson was going to be gone before 42. I really did believe that. So makes me think Pierce probably was the number one guy mentioned. They would have taken Christian Watson had Watson been there at 42. But again, I think Ballard probably assumed he was going to be gone. So therefore making it so that Alec Pierce was going to be number one on the board. So yes and no when it comes to this. Hey, y'all, listen up to this. Who will have more touchdowns in year one, Pierce or Woods? I'm going to go with Pierce. Anything Doolin will do this here? Well, I mean, if this was a year he was going to thrive, this is it. Because, you know, he could be receiver 4 for the Colts this year. Easy. Do you think this is the most versatile O-line in a while? Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, honestly, there's only one guy on this offensive line right now that I would not feel comfortable putting at multiple positions. As of the starting 5, and that's Ryan Kelly. Because Ryan Kelly's only ever played center. But Big Q, we know he can move him to left tackle if we absolutely needed to. Matt Pryor, we know he can play right guard. We know he can play right tackle. Danny Pinter, we've seen him play center. We've seen him play tackle. We've seen him play guard. And Braden Smith, he was a right guard in college, so he knows how to play that. And then on top of it, you look at the depth pieces. You look at Dennis Kelly, can play both sides. Bernard Raymond's going to be a left tackle. You got Will Fries, can play guard and tackle. You know, so, I mean, there's a lot of guys that can move around in this offensive line, and I love it. How many passes will Woods make this season? Let's say 2. Let's say 2. Do you think the Jags will give us more trouble this year? Well, it's kind of hard to give us more trouble considering what we just saw them do, right? I mean, they gave us a shit ton of trouble last year. So, I don't know about that. But hey, guys, we're still only 3 subs away from 11,400 subs on YouTube, guys. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Who's going to be the surprise player of defense and offense? Surprise player. Parris Campbell offense. Defense. Curtis Brooks. Since Colts got 3 guys they was thinking about drafting at 42, do you think this will hit like the 2018 draft? Listen, I can't say it will because that 2018 draft was one of the best drafts that's ever happened with the Indianapolis Colts. So I can't say that, but it could. How often will we do 2 backfields? Could see that a few times. You can do a lot of things with that. We going to carry 4 tight ends? I don't know. The Colts got an extra tight end in Drew Ogletree. They might go with him on the practice squad though. So I think they carry 3, but they're going to have another 1 or 2 on the practice squad. Should we get Jarvis? I would love Jarvis, but I just think the price is going to be way too high. He's asking for $20 million a year, by the way. Do you think MPJ becomes a top wide receiver in the league this year? I don't know. That's tough. I like MPJ. I think he's a baller. The only reason I don't think he'd be a top wide receiver in the league this year is just because the way the Colts like to move things around with the offense, it doesn't ever really pertain to one guy ruling the offense unless you're Jonathan Taylor from last year. So it's kind of hard for me to think that MPJ is just going to take over and lead the league, even though I think he has the talent to do so. I just think with the way the offense runs in Indianapolis, it just makes it hard to do that. How many Colts jerseys do you own? Currently own 2, ordering a third one. Yeah, and I did get 1 or 2 from Weaver. So yeah, I did get a few from him. Are you gonna follow / root for Carson this year? Yeah, I definitely will. I'll root for him, unless he's playing the Colts, and then I'll wish nothing but pain and misery for him. I hope he loses big time. Yeah, I think so. Ben, if they get Bradberry, they are top 5. If they get Bradberry, they are sure in top 5. Easy. And then the next question, if we sign Bradberry at corner, do we go a top 3 D on paper? On paper, this is a top 3 defense. Yes, this would be a top 3 defense if on paper, if we get Bradberry. What week will we start catching fire? Week 8 or week 9. It's usually when I think about it. I'm going to say 3. I see what you did there, Rick. How soon do you see Alec Pierce contributing? Almost right away. I think almost right away. I mean, that's kind of what he needs to have happen. So here's the thing. I don't even necessarily say it's weak. I mean, I think just the problem we have with it is the fact that, a bunch of guys are either inexperienced a little bit or just one or two of the guys just ain't healthy. I mean, compared to a lot of other teams, it's weak. I wouldn't necessarily say the position is entirely weak at this point. Unproven is more of a better scenario there. Gosh, so many comments. Would you take JT or Edge if you had to pick one? Wow, are you trying to start fights? Okay. I'm going Jonathan Taylor, man. I'm sorry. Jonathan Taylor's speed and power, just unmatched. It's just unmatched. Edgerrin James was a beast, but Jonathan Taylor's a whole nother animal. Yes, Evan, I do think Okereke will be re-signed. Trying to see if there's any more of these that I haven't already answered. You think Pittman will want to get paid next year like Deebo Samuel? Will he want $20 million per year? Well, I'll say this, Pittman's not going to get it unless he gets unless he gets 1,200 plus receiving yards and 8 plus touchdowns. If he doesn't do that, he's not getting $20 million a year. Most underrated Colt. That's tough. I'd say it's Yannick Ngakoue at the moment. One of them. I think Yannick Ngakoue is one of the more underrated Colts right now because even people in the own fan base are still not saying how good he is. But I'd say Quiddy definitely could be underrated. No, I don't think Strawn's going to have a big role, but he could prove me wrong. Oh, yeah, and Isaiah Rodgers is an underrated one, too. I didn't even think about that. Hey, G.I. Joe, I agree, man. You think they'll bring in Foles for a vet backup QB? I could see that happening. I could definitely see that happening. Depends on how much Foles is going to want, but I definitely think that would not be a bad idea. I mean, I talked about it recently with the depth at quarterback the way it is. We really only have two quarterbacks on the roster at the moment. Do you have a weird feeling about how good this team will be this year? I'll tell you what, man. I was one of these people that kept saying, Ballard, you're pissing me off that you didn't do more at the beginning part of free agency and getting some stuff done for this team. And sure enough, I mean, this offseason's gone phenomenally well for the Colts. I mean, they got a really good edge rusher, one of the better edge rushers in the league. You also got a very good quarterback that I think still has a lot left in the tank and still can perform at a very good level for you, and a veteran guy at that. You went and drafted really well. You got a guy at every position that you knew you needed. You went and got more offensive line depth. You went and got Stephon Gilmore. You went and got safety depth. I mean, there's just nothing that Ballard didn't address this offseason that I'm not happy with. That's the truth. Yeah, only 20 years old. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Yeah, no more Dexter's Basement, homie. We drywalled this whole thing and painted it. Looks nice now, doesn't it? Name one player on offense that would guarantee a Super Bowl for the Colts. Like, that has to be added. Like, this is hard because I could go with any offensive player that I wanted and say that that's the guy that's going to turn us into a Super Bowl team. Is that what you're telling me? Just say yes if that's what you're telling me. I'll see it in the chat. One addition outside of our roster. But like, are you insinuating it has to be current, or like I could take any player off any team? This is like Madden here, where I could just add any player from any team and that player is going to take us to the Super Bowls like Madden. Is that what you're insisting? Yeah, I think it'll be more consistent, especially later in games. Truthfully, what makes 37-year-old Matt Ryan better? Darn it, Thrilled Show, you stole my idea. I was going to say Mahomes. At that point, I really don't even know, man. We need a quarterback, though. That's what would take it. But here's the thing. Here's why I think Matt Ryan is much better than Carson Wentz. That makes it better. Here's the thing. Matt Ryan does a great job of executing the simple play. The simple play that allows you to end up surviving for another play in another series. Okay. And here's the thing. Matt Ryan is top 5 in quarterbacks since I think 2015 or 16 that has had game-winning drives. He's like top 5 amongst quarterbacks in game-winning drives since like the last 5 to 10 years. That's what makes him better. And his ability to do more with less. He's had a lot less than what anything Carson Wentz has ever had to deal with. The rosters that Carson Wentz had in the past, I mean, again, he may not have had the most amazing offensive rosters sometimes, but he had one or two good weapons to throw to most of the time. And, you know, his coaching staff was really good over those first few seasons in Philadelphia. And he had a defense that really played their asses off early on in his career. And in this last year with Indianapolis, had the best running back in the league and had a really solid defense behind him. Matt Ryan has not had that. So that's what makes him better. Being able to do more with less and making the smart play is what makes him better. I don't know, Jeff. Too early to tell at that point. Yeah, Michigan Wolverines. I agree with that. How many years will it take to become to be polished? It's probably going to be another year or two, until we see a full roster with this receiver crew ready to go. Do you think Quiddy will get more sacks in Gus's system? Well, I don't really think Gus's system is what's going to impact it. I think on top of the fact that you now have another guy out on the opposite side of him that is going to take pressure away, is going to force them into the hands of Quiddy Pay a lot more often, and a better secondary now than what you had the previous year. You now know Quiddy Pay is going to have more opportunities to make plays like that. So, yes, I agree he's going to get more sacks. Who has a bigger season, Quiddy or Dio? Probably Quiddy. Yeah, Uncouth, you right. You're right. Ain't nobody trying to talk about him. Yeah, ain't nobody trying to talk about him. He's just a troll that likes to get a rise out of people. Stat not a lot of people know. Matt Ryan has 4,000 plus yards in 10 consecutive seasons ending last year, but he was 32 yards shy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it goes to show you what he can do with less. And the reason why I think that passing yard total will go down a little bit is because of the fact that he's going to have a running back that's going to run for over 1,000 yards. I mean, the Falcons haven't had a running back like that in a long time. They haven't had a running back to take over games like Jonathan Taylor does. So Matt Ryan won't have to throw the football quite as much as he normally does. How do you feel about the running back depth? Well, we got Jonathan Taylor. We got Naheem Hines. We got Deion Jackson. Got a couple undrafted free agent guys that I think can come in and do well. I think we're fine. Our defense will be top X in sacks. Top 12. Top 12. That's what I'll say. Imagine Lamar Jackson with JT in the O-line. Yeah, I mean, tell me about it. Zach, I can agree to an extent, but like at the end of the day, I mean, they have a good wide receiver in Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman right now is a top is a top 30 wide receiver in the league. I would seriously say that. And, when it comes to all the rest of the guys, I mean, again, I think this wide receiver group is not needing a high quality impact player that's going to cost the Colts $25+ million for no reason at all. I just don't think we need to. Who do you think will be sack leader this year? Might be DeForest Buckner, might be Yannick. It needs to be one of those two. Yeah, really has every advantage over Wentz other than pure arm strength. I would say the only advantage that Wentz has outside of that is just the escapability thing in the pocket. I would say that's the biggest thing. But other than that, there's nothing else more to it than that. Yes, I do think Pierce is going to make an impact. I don't think it's going to be huge, but I think he's going to make an impact. 2 more subs away, guys, from 11,400 subs on the YouTube channel. So greatly appreciate if you guys can help us get to 11,400. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I agree, Brock, because, last year really wasn't a good year for him because he was dealing with the injuries, So, I mean, this is his first real year. Randy Moss never became polished by most people's standards. Yeah, he was just an athletic, lanky guy. He was never really a fine-tuned machine. But yeah, I mean, he ran past guys. He can win the 50-50 ball. I mean, that's exactly right. Hmm. Improvements. I would say adding another wide receiver, vet wide receiver, and some interior offensive line depth, true interior offensive line depth. Yeah, true. And I've said prior with this before, I think. I think it's Pittman. I mean, Pittman showed in limited time last year that he can ball, honestly. One more sub away, guys. Listen, hopefully we can get one more sub, guys, before this night's over. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Again, if you haven't already liked the stream, be sure to like it. Gets it out to more people. I think it's going to be Pinter. Yeah, Valiant. We're going to be top 10, no question. Elijah, let me just kind of put you at ease a little bit if I can, okay? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with our O-line depth at this point. Let me explain why. The Colts right now have 4 guys who could potentially play left tackle. 4 different guys on the roster right now that could play left tackle. And one of them you just drafted, one you just picked up, another one you did an undrafted free agent. I think that there's a good chance either one of those 3, those top 3 could make it at the left tackle position. And for guard depth, you have Will Fries. Matt Pryor could move to the right guard position if you needed him to. We've seen him do that before. And again, Dennis Kelly can play both sides. So, you can move him to the right tackle position if you needed to. And if something were to happen to Kelly, Danny Pinter can move to center. Matt Pryor can move to right guard. Ryman can move into left tackle. You see, I think there's just so much interchangeability. I think the Colts are fine when it comes to the offensive line. Do you think we will re-sign Quentin Nelson to a long-term deal? Yeah, 100%. 100% we will. Will we sport the number one defense next season? If we get Bradberry, I'd say that's a much more likely chance. It'd be close. It'd be close. All right, Raymond. I feel you. I feel you. Hey, listen, I'm not putting any disrespect on Edge. Edge is a Hall of Famer for a reason, man. He's a beast. Jonathan Taylor could end up being the same way. Worried about our kicking game. I'm actually probably one of the few people that's not worried about the Colts kicking game right now. Maybe that's just because I'm ignorant and don't really care, but I'm not worried. What free agent was the biggest loss? Let's see. Which free agent was the biggest loss? I'd probably say it's Glowinski. And the reason I say Glowinski is because Glowinski over the last 2 seasons has been the only offensive lineman that has played every game for us. He's been the most reliable. And it sucks not keeping somebody like that around because reliability and availability are the best things in the world for an NFL player and for an NFL team. And that's why that works. Hey, we did it, guys. 11,400 subs. Let's go. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Thank you. Well, you either have to draft the right one or you trade for them. Did I skip down? I couldn't tell. Oh, okay, here I am. Pinter probably will be. What's your favorite addition player we got this year? Well, I'm going to just ignore the depth or the draft players. I'm going to go with just the free agent stuff. That's tough, man, because God, I loved the additions of Yannick Ngakoue and Stephon Gilmore equally. I think they're both premium players at their position. And I'm very excited for both. Honestly, I can't go wrong with either side with that. Yes, RC Carnage, I do believe so. I've already answered the question about Naheem Hines being a receiver at this point. Make sure to ask me some more questions, guys. Different stuff that you want to hear that I haven't been able to actually answer before. I've answered quite a few of these already. Do you see the back seven having major problems adjusting to Bradley's defense? Me personally, I do not believe so because, for one, the majority of the back seven, well, first off, the fact that the cover three transitioning from a cover two zone defense to a cover three zone is not the most drastic thing in the world. There are a lot different defenses. Switching from a mainly zone defense to a mainly man defense, that is a bigger adjustment. So I'm not as concerned about it. And second thing, I think a lot of the back seven guys are really smart. Guys like Kenny Moore, who have been in different schemes, Stephon Gilmore, who's been a part of multiple schemes, and Rodney McLeod, guys like that. They've been in multiple different defensive schemes, right? So this doesn't concern me any. And if anything, I think the cover three actually makes it easier for the Colts defense because I think it actually ties into what more of the back seven wants to be, which is aggressive. They want to be aggressive and physical. They want to be up in your face with it. Cover three is a lot more of playing zone, but being aggressive while playing zone and not just covering spots. That's what it is. Rylan, do you think we're Super Bowl contenders this year with a good season from Pierce? Well, it certainly doesn't hurt. That's definitely an interesting thing to see. I don't know if he is the piece that's going to keep us from winning a Super Bowl or not. But obviously, yes, if Pierce takes off and has a great year, then of course, yeah, that makes the offense even more talented and this team can do a hell of a lot more. So yeah, I appreciate the question. Do you like Frank Reich and Chris Ballard? Yeah, I like them both. Absolutely. And Tyler already answered the QB or the Colts fan question. Talked already about, me being a fan of Peyton Manning and watching a lot of the primetime games. What the hell do you do for work? What's a full-time gig? I wish this was my full-time gig. I won't say 100% what I do for a living. It's not a glamorous job, but it pays the bills. But nevertheless, I wish at some point this will be a full-time gig. Hopefully we can get it to that point where we feel we can take that step. It's not where it is right now, but we'll take a closer look into it later. What do you think Kwity Paye needs to work on to take his game to the best level? I mean, again, I'm not a defensive line coach. I can't definitively tell you that, what it is that he needs to do specifically. I think he was doing fine towards the end of the year. I thought he did fantastic towards the end of the year. I thought he was getting a lot more pressure and I thought he was feeding into it a lot better. I just think that he needs to continue to progress on those things. Right. I think he needs to do more for himself by doing that. Didn't they mix in both cover 2 and cover 3 a lot last year anyway? Towards the end of the season, maybe a little bit, but not really, because it was really hard to even do cover 3 with a cover 3 safety look because there was so much depth missing on the defensive secondary anyway, More excited to see this defense than the offense. Oh yeah, I totally agree. I love what this defense has become on paper. I cannot wait to watch this defense. On paper, it looks amazing. Will Pittman or Pierce moss more guys throughout their career? Well, I'll just say this. If last year was any indication of what Michael Pittman can continue to do, Pierce is going to have a lot of work to do, man. I think it's going to be Pittman. That's just me, though. I love what I saw from him last year, mossing some guys. Yeah, that's truth. That's truth, Rick. Bryant, how good do you think T-Law and the Jags will be this coming season? Will they be better than the Colts? Well, I don't believe they'll be better than the Colts. I still think that we're going to be coached better. I think we still have we have better players at premium positions. We have the better quarterback. We have the better running back. We have the better offensive line. You could argue they may potentially have better receivers at this moment in time, but we have better tight ends. We also have the better overall defense. Our defensive line up and down the board is better than theirs. Our linebackers are obviously better, and our secondary with the additions we've added is way better. Now, do I think that they'll be bad? No. Also, TJ Joe with the $2 super chat. Thank you very much. Over under on one playoff win. I'm going to go even. I'm going to go even. I'm going to just go even line there. But thank you for the $2 super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Bryant Williams again. I think I really honestly do believe they could honestly win, I could honestly see them winning 5-6 games this next year. I know that sounds stupid. But that's the most wins that they would have had in like the last 3 or 4 seasons, like ever since they had Blake Bortles and whatnot. I mean, they've improved. They still need to get some of those great players at premium positions because they spend so much money on some of these guys, but a lot of the times they go and get these wide receivers that just don't matter unless you have a good offensive line, a good quarterback, and a good coach that can put them in positions to win. Not every team can build their wide receiver room like the Bengals or like the Rams. Only difference is Rams can do it because, for one, they have Sean McVay as a head coach, and he's a great offensive-minded coach. You got Matt Stafford that can ball with any receiver that he has, and they have a good offensive line. That's the problem. It's just that the Jags will be better this next season. They will win a few more games than what they have been in recent years, but they're not going to be that great yet. They still have some work to be done. Yo, Mitch, what up, man? Hey, I feel you, man. Let me know. I'm trying to get RB to come over to my place when that game happens. So that way he and I can spend a whole week doing content with each other. We randomly did some man coverage. Yeah, sometimes we did do man, and cover 3 allows you to play a more man style cover 3 or zone coverage, basically. Do you think we will sign James Bradberry? Well, from what I've heard, the top 5 teams, the Colts are one of the most interested in him. Please, Colts, get James Bradberry. Please, man. That will solidify us being a top 5 defense. There is not a shadow of a doubt that the Colts would be a top 5 defense in the league if James Bradberry is on this team come week 1. 100%. Well, bro, you and your bro do a hell of a job doing the show. Love y'all's insight. Keep doing what you're doing, and this will be your day job. Keep grinding. Dakota Mullis, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate those kind words. Who do you think will be Ryan's favorite target by the end of the season? Man, that is tough. He likes to spread the ball around. It's either going to be Hines or it's going to be Pittman, I think. Who could win in a fight with a bear, Buckner or Woods? Well, neither one of them could. The bear would absolutely maul both of them, but if I had to take more of a chance on one of them, I'd probably go Buckner just because he's a little heavier, but that's pretty funny, though. I say the only problem with signing Bradberry is he might want 13 mil. Yeah, I mean, that would be, the problem is whatever cap we have left at this moment in time, that's probably going to have to go into a guy like Bradberry. So if you were going to think about making another move, you would have to work some deals out and free up some cap room. somewhere along the line. Not sure where that would be, but they can do that. But that's going to have to be the case. It's going to have to be the case. With Woods having a 10 out of 10 RAS score, how you think it will convert to the field compared to the other top tight end RAS scores? I mean, this is the best RAS score that we have seen come at the tight end position since 1987, since they started tracking this stuff. This is the best one. Best one. There's not a single person that has done as good as this guy has at his size. Okay, so that's incredible. Now, how much will that convert to the field? I mean, again, it's great for being on the field because for a guy that's young at the position, it helps to have that athletic ability to be able to excel your growth. So I think that is going to come down to it at the end. Yeah, exactly. TJ Joe with another $2 super chat. Thank you, sir. If Bills miss the playoffs, if Bill misses the playoffs, does his legacy change? 100%. 100%. 100%. But thank you for the $2 super chat again. Thank you very much. Just a reminder, he's a freakish athlete, 6'7", 255, ran a 4.6, faster than David Bell. Yeah, David Bell, who is 5 inches shorter or 3 inches shorter and about 40 pounds lighter and couldn't run the same 40 time as this guy. I mean, think about that for a second. If the Colts land Bradberry, they'll definitely compete for the AFC. Oh, 100%. Miles Bryan, my guy. What's up? Hope life's well, man. Hey, same to you, brother. Woods over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. Under on both. I think he's going to get probably 300 to 400 receiving yards and probably like 3 or 4 touchdowns, what I would say. Hey, I mean, if they want to do a video together, then I would love to do one with them. If they reach out to us, then I would totally be down to do a video with them. They got some good perspective. Rashad said he doesn't care about money. His lowest ask is $8 million. He just wants a good situation. Yeah, see, Y23K. Now, this is the interesting because Rashad McGinnis, one of the co-hosts of the Blue Stable, if you guys haven't already, be sure to go check him out. Always has a lot of great insight. All those guys do at Blue Stable. He did say that, look, is there a better situation to walk into right now on defensive wise than what the Colts got right now? Very few situations are better than what we have right now. And we're one of the few teams that has that ability at that top 10 cap situation to make that happen. I would love it, man. I would love it. I want it to happen so bad. Per the Bradberry salary question, Shot of the Blue Stable said today that his contract told him that Bradberry would accept the deal at $10 million or less if the fit was right. Colts, do it. Colts, do it. Do it. Please. Top 5 defense in the league if Bradberry comes to Indianapolis. Top 5. And yeah, I did see that they made their video about it yesterday. I'll have to rewatch it. But nobody knows what's up with TY right now. Last year, it seemed like our defense used to get tired in the second half. Are we getting more energy for this upcoming season? Thanks for the content. Well, thank you again for watching. And second off, yeah, I think in the second half of games, we'll get better because we've added a lot of depth at a lot of premium positions. And on top of it, you got now really good edge guys and defensive linemen that can help take over games a little more now. So how good do you think Parris can be if healthy? As a Buckeye fan, I want them to succeed. Yeah, I feel you, Manuel. Same here, bro. Same here. Dude, I think that I think he can. I think he can be really good. I mean, the thing is, over the last 2 seasons, we have seen Parris Campbell, when he is healthy, have phenomenal games. Like, he's had some really good games when he's healthy. So, like, the thing is if he can stay healthy, he can make an impact. I really do believe that he can make a great impact, and people will just forget all this freaking injury BS and then just accept the fact that Parris Campbell was actually a good draft pick if he could just stay healthy. And I'll explain this, Thrill Chill. The thing is when it comes to, you have to take into consideration when you're looking at the defense as a whole when it comes to these sorts of things. Bradberry's stats, let alone of this, is he has 7 interceptions over the last 2 seasons. This guy's a turnover machine. That's what he does. And that's a great thing for Indianapolis because you need corners like that. They want guys like that. And then on top of it, that was New York. That's the New York Giants. I mean, their team is trash as is. So a lot of these guys are actually worse than what they actually are. So putting Bradberry in a good situation like this with Indianapolis makes him that much more efficient. That's what the difference is. Over under on Watson getting suspended 8 games, half the season. I'll go under. How much money do we have left? I think it's just over 10 million as it stands at the moment. We can make some room elsewhere, but we need to get Bradberry. Bradberry. Try saying that 3 times like I just did. They said today Jerry Hughes signed with the Texans. I was like, who? It's been so long since I heard that name tied with the Colts. Yeah, I know, right? He's a veteran now, man. He's older. He's like 32. If the Colts get Bradberry, they wouldn't have cap room for a war, would they? Yeah, they wouldn't have really any cap left, depending on what Bradberry's cost would be, right? I mean, that's the big thing here. How much is it actually going to cost? So, it's going to be interesting, though. I mean, again, you can make room elsewhere, right? I mean, you can make room with that, so it's not a big deal. PFF said he wasn't that great. Well, PFF is a lot of BS a lot of times when it comes to that. Blue Stable Bradberry news comes in at like 37 minutes. Yeah, I saw that. I saw it was a little bit later into it. I see a lot of 2 tight end sets, but not a lot of 2 running back sets. Defoe going to have 10 plus sacks, a little help coming in. Dude, he definitely could. Definitely could. Do we have enough good depth at right guard? Yeah, I think we do have a couple guys. You know, Will Fries could be there. Matt Pryor could be there. They might try to sign one more guy. Who knows? If the Colts got Bradberry, would they have enough money to get a wide receiver? It just depends on who it is. You know, you ain't going to get a premium wide receiver. You're going to probably get a retread guy. There is none of them that I would assume the mantle of wide receiver 1, but I could see one of the wide receivers emerging in this as Ashton Doolin. Derek, call Chris, make that deal, Bradberry. Oh, dude, I wish I could call Chris right now. Wish I could call Chris right now and tell him, dude, make the deal. I'll do what I gotta do to help. Yeah, I have like 13 mil left. Yeah, I mean, well, we haven't seen the contract for Dennis Kelly yet. I think that's going to impact the cap just a little bit, but it's not going to be that much. Yeah, Dakota, sometimes we do subscriber live streams. We'll have to get back to doing that again. We'll probably do that a little bit more often now that the off season's here. So okay, free kicks. Okay. Do not let me have to put you in timeout, okay? That's funny, but don't make me put you in timeout. If the situation truly is that, why wouldn't everyone just poach the Lions Jags players that they'll be better in a good system? At 10 million, I want a player that will change the franchise. Not every player that's going to get 10 million is going to change your franchise. It's just not going to happen. And on top of it, like, because teams like the Lions and the Jags, they can afford to pay more money to players like that because they're in the bucket list when it comes to that stuff anyway. They spend the most money. The Jags spend the most money every single offseason when it comes to free agency. You wonder why some free agents want to come to the Jags and sometimes the Lions, because they get bag, because they get the bag. That's why. Yeah, for real. No team was willing to trade anything for Bradberry, hence why Giants released him. That's not true, Tyler. They actually did have a trade in place, but because of contract issues, that deal did not go into place. But do you think he'll get the money he wants? He's definitely going to get some kind of money here. He's definitely going to get some good money. The money that he necessarily wants, I don't know. Is he going to get good money, though? He's going to get good money. What game will be more hype? Raiders game. Raiders game for me. I would take Bradberry right now, honestly. I'm honestly doing the same. You got some young wide receivers that could still ball out, and you spend your money on another premium position that solidifies what your defense can do. Just got back from practice. What I missed. Well, I hope it was a good football practice for you, Invisible. Obviously, it's too early, but do you think we would be aggressive next season for a QB? I think they should. I think they should be aggressive. The QB class that's going to be coming up, stacked. And I think that would be the year to get a quarterback to sit behind Matt Ryan for a year. Last one, is this the greatest Colts offseason ever? I can't say that because I haven't lived long enough to understand every offseason for the Colts, but this is probably the most exciting offseason that we've had since doing this podcast. I can tell you that much. How does it feel knowing the Bears are doing such a terrible job giving Fields help? Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I got mocked by somebody on Twitter a few days, like a week ago, for saying that I was wrong about the Bears selecting a wide receiver early in the draft because they needed help for Fields. And then I'm like, well, was I wrong in the fact that Fields needs help? I mean, just because I didn't get the pick right doesn't mean that I'm wrong in the fact that they needed wide receiver help. It's kind of funny. I feel bad because Justin Fields is my guy, and it sucks to see him not getting very much help. What do you think of Longhorns football? I always say it's where dreams go to die for football players nowadays. 10 mil isn't a lot anymore in the NFL. No, it is not. Do you think the Colts are even trying to go after Bradberry? Yes. NFL rumors on Twitter has stated to that fact that the Colts are interested in that. So, hey, Lucius Gibbs with the new member. Thank you for the Pass the Juice. I'm going to add you as a moderator now, my friend. Thank you so very much. Everyone, welcome Lucius to the YouTube member committee. Welcome him to the Pass the Juice community. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Lucius, for joining, man. Greatly appreciate you. Give us your way too early season record prediction for the upcoming season. 10-7. 10-7. Yes, and yes, they are. So is Alec Pierce automatic wide receiver too? Well, yeah, of course he has to earn it. He has to earn it. Of course he does. I mean, he has to earn it, you know, but at the end of the day, I mean, I do believe he's going to be wide receiver too. Yes, I agree. Yeah, same here. Same here, Matt. That is a fact. Agreed. Brock, agreed. Probably go for a little bit longer here, guys, and then I will end the stream. It's been about an hour and a half, and I'm going to need to get to bed here very shortly because unfortunately, been getting up early in the mornings for work and it's been kicking my butt. But anyway, thank you guys again so much. Thank you again for the subscriber count as well. I greatly appreciate it. What are the Colts' best 3 value draft picks in the last 4 years? Darius Leonard. Value. Jonathan Taylor's got to be in there, right? And then it has to be Nelson. I mean, it has to be Nelson. I mean, I know what we're saying right now. It's I know what we're saying right now is whether or not we want to keep them. But again, when they drafted Braden Smith and Quentin Nelson in that draft, it went from, I mean, they went from one of the worst offensive lines in football to literally with top 5 offensive line the next year because of drafting guys like Quentin Nelson and Braden Smith. I mean, that was how good those guys were. Was the quality on K-Weaves. I mean, yeah, his jerseys are good, man. His jerseys are good. I don't know why some people are hating about it. I thought his jerseys were fine. I thought his were fine. And you know what? I mean, honestly, for the price that he charges, I mean, who wouldn't want to spend $50 less on a jersey? Who wouldn't want to do that? I can get behind the Julian Blackmon argument, but I think it's too early to say that, though. Am I the only one that thinks that it's funny that 37-year-old Matt Ryan will give us the most QB stability since Luck? No, I mean, you're absolutely right. He is going to give us the most stability, which is great. I mean, it's a good thing. Hey, what's up, Romero? I think I said 10-7. So any final questions, guys? Any final questions? Could be anything. Doesn't even have to be Colts related at this point. It could be about me. It could be about life. It could be about this and that. I just want some questions from you guys. Well, I already answered the Colts fan thing. It was mainly because of watching Peyton Manning. Are you going to any away games? It depends on my living situation. How's life? Hey, I can't complain, man. Can't complain. Compared to what I have, I mean, I can't complain too much. Do I have a dog? No, I don't have a dog. I'd like to have a dog at some point. Dude, I would lose my mind, Brock, if we did that. who'll be starting tight ends. It's going to be Molly Cox. Who will have the biggest breakout season? Rodgers, Blackman, or Quiddy? I'm going to say Quiddy. Some of these questions, man. Yes, Green Ninja. They definitely should. There's been some good ones. Do I watch the Pat McAfee show? Yeah, occasionally. I like Pat McAfee. I love Pat McAfee. Going to Vegas for the Colts Raiders. Hopefully Colts at Denver. Dude, that'd be sick. Going to Vegas. Yes, absolutely, Matt. You and I both agree. You and I both posted about that on Twitter. How the man only eats chicken. How he doesn't eat red meat. Like, what sick human being are you that has never tasted a piece of red meat? Like, are you serious? How do I get started doing what you do, talking about the Colts? Hey, man, you just have to create your, you just got to get a name for a podcast, and you just need a computer, and you need, or even using your phone would help. You know, I suggest getting a StreamYard account, because StreamYard, you can do all this stuff for free. It's easy, it's free. If you ever seriously wanted to get set up, then be sure to text me. I can message, and I can show you how to set up a StreamYard account. It's easy. Do you watch Pat McAfee show, bro? Listen to you and them. Oh, well, thank you, Dakota. Yeah, I do listen to him a lot. Any free agents the Colts should sign? At this point, I just want Bradberry at that point. I'd rather start LeBron. What up? Got him. See why Hilton, no chance he will be signed. No, there's no chance, but doesn't seem like it's getting any better. The longer it carries on, I just don't think it's going to happen. How do you think Wentz will do against Gilmore and company? 3 interceptions. Are you opposed to the idea of trading Big Q for a first and a fourth? Yes, I'm opposed to that. Give me 2 firsts and an additional pick. Yeah, if you're a Colts fan, who doesn't want McAfee? Is it just me, or is preseason really fun to watch? I don't mind it. I like watching some of the young guys. You know, I like watching some of the young guys get a chance to play. You know, for some of them, that might be the only time they get to play all year. So, you know, they like to take advantage of it. Colts always do really well in the preseason, too. I always like to watch those. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you all again so much for tuning in. And I really appreciate all of you tuning in and doing this with me. Thank you again for helping us get to 11,400 subs on the stream. Greatly appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, guys, go Colts.